We're going to check in right now with Dan Abrams, ABC's chief legal analyst, and make sense of it for us, because there's a lot to try to comprehend here.
Yeah, so this was sort of a compromise verdict, but still a big win for prosecutors. I mean, I think that you need to take a step back and recognize that prosecutors were concerned that they were either going to get a hung jury or an acquittal here. And I say that not because of the dozens of women who have accused Harvey Weinstein, but because of the specific evidence that was admitted here about these two cases. There were problems with these cases, and yet prosecutors were able to get a conviction with regard to both of the two key accusers here. Were they able to get the most significant charge of predatory sexual assault? No. But Harvey Weinstein's going to jail right now, as we speak. So that's a win for prosecutors in connection with this case.
How could they get rape in the first degree, or rather get rape in the third degree, but not in the first degree?
So these were two different cases, right? So one of them, there was a rape case, and that was with regard to Mimi Halle, who's identified herself publicly. Second woman who's not identified herself publicly, that's a case where it was a tougher case, meaning she had a long relationship with Harvey Weinstein after the fact. And in that case, it was third-degree rape. And so you had a lesser conviction in that case than in the other one. So two different women, two different verdicts, and as a result, two different sentences.
Now, what would you say, where would you say this stands in the era of the Me Too movement?
Yeah.
This decision, it's obviously historic, and how could it influence what happens in LA?
See, you know, I think it would have been the flip, meaning if there had been an acquittal, there would have been a lot of people saying, boy, isn't this a problem, considering how much progress has been made on the Me Too movement? You now have a conviction. You have Harvey Weinstein in jail as we speak. That is real progress. How does it affect the Los Angeles case? You know what? It puts a little less pressure on them. Can you imagine if in this case there was an all-out acquittal? Harvey Weinstein was found not guilty, and then it all rested on what happens in Los Angeles. That would have been that much more pressure. Now some of that pressure has been taken off. Harvey Weinstein is going to prison. We don't know for exactly how long. There's going to be a sentencing hearing coming up. But again, I think that those who are not saying this is a victory for prosecutors are understating some of the challenges with this case.
Let me ask you something. As a legal analyst, do you think the prosecution put too much into one case? You have two separate sexual assault cases. Then you got a bigger predatory sexual assault issue that the jury has to wrestle with. Clearly, they were confused. They didn't know if I charge him on a lesser charge. Do I have to charge him on a higher charge? Did the prosecution make a mistake by complicating things?
Well, if there'd been an acquittal, I would have said yes. But there wasn't an acquittal. So as a result, the jurors were able to sort it out. And I will tell you that, remember, the more significant charge, the predatory sexual assault, involved saying, I believe one victim on one charge, plus a second person who they didn't charge, Annabella Shora. She's an actress who said Harvey Weinstein assaulted her decades ago. For both of these women, the two most significant charges involved saying, yes, I believe accuser 1 plus Annabella Shora. Yes, I believe accuser 2 plus Annabella Shora. Right. It seems that the jurors did have questions about Annabella Shora's account, and as a result, they're saying, believe the accusers, weren't as certain about Annabella Shora, which is surprising because those of us who were watching the case thought her testimony was more compelling, more persuasive than either of the other two.
The readback they asked about, I mean, I don't know if this is something to focus on, but some of attention was paid on access to the building.
Yeah.
You know, how did he get up there if he wasn't invited, I guess was the suggestion from the defense.
And this happened in the 90s. Yeah. I mean, you know, when you're talking about memories of times and dates, et cetera, so that certainly made that difficult. But remember, there was no specific charge with regard to just Annabella Shora. She was essentially backup to convince jurors on the most serious charges, and that's why you call it predatory sexual assault. It means more than one.
Right.
And so it would be accuser plus Annabella Shora, and clearly the jurors had some questions about her testimony.